সবাইকে শুভ সন্ধ্যা। নাইম ভাইকেও শুভ সন্ধ্যা। নাইম ভাই, এটা হচ্ছে মূলত প্রজেক্ট ডিপ্রো নিয়ে একটা ওরিয়েন্টেশন। আমরা একটা স্টাডি সার্কেল করছি। যদি আপনার কিছুক্ষণ থাকতে ইচ্ছে করে আপনি থাকতে পারেন, অথবা আপনি চাইলে যখন আপনার প্রয়োজন হবে leave করতে পারেন।
ভাই ঠিক আছে, এখন বলতে পারবেন। ঠিক আছে।
So thank you dear colleagues and good evening from Bangladesh. Welcome to Project DPro Study Circle. And as I have posted the front page of Project DPro Guide, this is the second edition of Project DPro Guide by PM4NGOs USA. In this study circle, we will cover the whole study of the whole Project DPro Guide in 5 days, means by 25th of May. So you can tune every day at 7 p.m. Bangladesh Standard Time, so that you can get entry into the classes and you can take part in the discussion. So the Project DPro Guide is a handbook developed by PM4NGOs, which is a guidebook to attain PMDPro and also a handbook to understand PGMDPro. Also, PMDPro stands for Project Management for Development Professional, which is a certification provided by PM4NGOs USA. PM4NGOs is a US-based organization, which is an umbrella organization of many of our development colleagues around the world, and they are offering this certification for the development professional who are managing projects in development sectors. So this is the content list of the Project DPro guide or PMDPro guide, and there are some preface, and section 1 is introduction to the Project DPro guide. Then section 2, Project DPro phases. There are 4 phases of a project as per the Project DPro approach. Then 3 is Project DPro principles. As we know that development projects and humanitarian projects have different characters, so which is a bit different from the other project management approaches like PMI, PMBOK, then APM, and the other approaches. And section 4, adopting the Project DPro. This section will discuss how we adopt and translate the learning from Project DPro guide in our practical project management. 5 is the changes in the Project DPro guide from the first version, as this is the second edition of the Project DPro guide. Then there are 8 annexes. So the whole book is 215 pages. So the easily we can easily think that we need to cover 40 pages, so that we can finish the book. I think we can skip page 12 and page 13. Let's start from page 15, which is very important for us. And make it a bit big. Let me make the page big, because I need to make sure that you can see the page. and I will wish that you will go through the pages with me, and if you have a chance, you will read it. At the end of the session, I will share the project DPro guide with you so that you can read it, or you can download it from the PM for NGOs website so that you can read it at your own convenience. Okay. So throughout these project DPro guide, you will see the reference from Delta River case. Delta River case is a recent assessment that has been implemented in some part of Africa, and the studies like that. Delta River has resulted in depleted crop stocks, hence there is a depletion of crop production, both the side of Delta River, and also there is a reduced production of crops, and also the family members of the neighboring communities have their income has been decreased, and also there is an incident of high incidence of waterborne diseases and illness in the communities living on the side of the banks of Delta. Then the main problem, so after the assessment, the main problems in the Delta River Basin are low public awareness of the dangers of dumping household waste, low access and use of sanitation facilities for the disposal of fecal waste, corruption and inadequate oversight of the local chemical fertilized industry by the Environment Protection Agency. As a result of low budgets and poor planning by local government, even among businesses, treated wastewater does not meet environmental standards. So these are the problems that are contributing the existing community problems, which is found in the FSC. So let us take it granted that throughout the project DPro guide, we'll find and we'll see the reference from these Delta cases.
একটা বিষয় বুঝতেছি না, জি মেম্বারদের কত টাকা ফি জমা দিতে হবে এটা আর কি।
নাইম ভাই, আপনার মাইকটাকে একটু মিউট করা যাবে?
ডাইরেক্ট অটো নাই।
নাইম ভাই, আপনার মাইকটাকে একটু মিউট করা যাবে?
না না, চারজন তো আমরা, ইয়া চারজন।
নাইম ভাই,
1000 টাকা না? আর ওই যে এবছর তো মনে হয় ওই যে কুরিয়ার মনে হয় পাঠা নেই মনে হয় ইয়াটা, ওই শিডিউল গুলা।
so this case study will be discussed, will be referred throughout the session, throughout the handbook too. So we have to very carefully read it, as we will see for the exam, means the DPro exam. So, and in the exam, we will also see the reference from these case studies, so that we have to study, means we have to memorize almost these case studies. Now, changing the world through projects. There are some simple examples that if we dig a canal, a well, means a small water well, if we establish a microbanks, if we work for an endangered ecosystem, if we rebuild a school, if we install a health clinic in our local community, or if we distribute foods to the hungry people, or in emergencies or after flood. And these all are the projects. Everything we do are really aligning with a project. maybe we don't know the technical things of a project, but it's a project. Everything we do, it's a project. And it's mentioned that millions of development workers change the world every day through activities in agriculture, healthcare, microfinance, conservation, affordable housing, education, infrastructure, and human rights. They all share one thing in common: they change the world through projects. So the main theme is every day humanitarian workers, development workers, and government agencies who are working in a project, they all are working together to bring change in the communities. There is an important thing that every project management needs staffing and an organization, and they have project staffs, project teams, and the team writes project proposals. The team develop project plans, implement project activities, monitors project progress, and evaluates the project impact. So these are some important things we need to keep it in mind. And most importantly, beneficiary communities invest their time, energy, and resources in the projects. They trust the projects to build up on their collective strengths, to reinforce their areas of comparative weakness, and to solve the challenges that otherwise might be considered out of their control. So in a project, every project we work, we need to make sure that we are listening to the beneficiaries and we are making them the owner of the project. As because they invest their time, energy, resources, and also they reinforce the capacity of the organization, and they want that the implementing agency, the project donor, is contributing to solve their problems. So this point must be very important point, because beneficiary participation, meaningful participation, is important, and we have to keep it in mind for exam. It's true that although many organizations are implementing projects, but it's seldom identified, means project management seldom identified as a strategic priority for organizations. So as the organizations mostly focus on technical programmatic areas like public health, education, child protection, WASH, advocacy, and many other things. So in many cases, the technical projects are technical. If a project is themed with a technical specification, like such as a project manager is, or managing a health project, or an organization has been funded for a health project. So the organization is hiring a doctor or a health background professional, so that they think that this health background professional can manage this project successfully. So that the idea of recruitment of a project management professional or a person with specific knowledge, specialization in project management is seldom considered. So these technical programmatic specialists tend to be very good at identifying treatment protocols for illnesses, developing curricula for schools, designing improved agricultural systems, and analyze the root causes of poverty. So there are so many projects are being implemented by many agencies, and if it is thought, and normally it's thought that the technical specialists can solve the problems as the project is related to a technical specific thing, but they cannot only contribute to solve a specific thematical problem, like a curriculum development specialist or an education specialist. An education specialist can be a master in developing curriculum, but he must not be, or we should not think that he can be a specialist or an expert in managing an education project. However, it is uncommon to find that they have extensive experience and skills in the area of project management. So they need to understand a project manager, even if it is a health project, but still now he needs to understand, are project estimates accurate? Because project estimation is very important for budgeting, and budgeting is important when I'm implementing a project. Have project risks been anticipated and are they thoroughly controlled? So risk assessment and also making a risk plan and managing risks are very important issues. While I'm implementing a project, I'm designing a project, I'm planning a project, I'm budgeting for a project. So the technical specialist cannot really contribute here, where the project management knowledge and skills are very relevant. Our project challenges identified, tracked, and addressed. So a project manager is the person who can identify the challenges, track the challenges, and address the challenges. And are all aspects of the project proactively managed throughout the life of the project. So every project has a life cycle, and a project manager need to manage, and he can manage, she can manage the various aspects of a project in every life cycle of the project. Are the social changes the project wishes to address being achieved? So a technical specialist, like I was giving example of an education specialist who can have a specialization in education or curriculum development or classroom management or education policy development or literacy programming, but he cannot be the mastermind in addressing social changes and leading social changes, making sure that the achievement is being possible. So this project DPro guide extended, and it enhances the capacity of project managers in the development and humanitarian sector, and it provides contextualized, balanced, comprehensive, and adaptable body of knowledge and toolkit to help increase the efficiency and effectiveness of projects in the sector. Now we are entering slowly to the main discussion of the DPro guide. I think from this page, from this point 1.1.3, we have to read the DPro guide very carefully, and we have to take notes, as because exam questions will appear from these portion of the book. So we are really now starting to discuss the question paper, because questions will cover from this page. So the point is managing projects in the development and humanitarian sectors. I'll read and explain. Managing projects in the development and humanitarian sectors is anything but simple. The operating environments are complex, the challenges are numerous, project leaderships are complicated, the cost of failure is high. In short, there is a lot that could go wrong. The graphic in figure 2 serves as an illustration of some of the many challenges that could threaten the success of projects. Each image represents an example of what could happen as a result if the design, planning, or implementation of the project is poorly conceived or implemented. Unfortunately, the list of challenges presented in Figure 2 is not comprehensive. There are many more things that could go wrong in projects. For example, are exchange rates stable? Are the team dynamics functional? Do the monitoring systems provide useful, accurate, and timely information? Are project suppliers reliable? Is there political instability? Are there stakeholders who are undermining the project? Sorry, I have tried to make the page fully visible so that you could read with me. You could see the lines clearly, but I failed to do it. That's because I think there are some limitations. Let me make it more big so that you can see the page. Okay, now let me keep reading. Are there stakeholders who are undermining the project? To succeed, the project manager must proactively and decisively manage these challenges. Too often, failed projects are attributed as the victims of circumstances that were out of our control. While this explanation might be valid at times, it is often used as an excuse and fails to acknowledge that the project could have been better anticipated, analyzed, and actively managed. To retain control of projects and promote project success, project managers need to develop the skills required to proactively identify the challenges that could impact their project. And to effectively manage their projects even when the challenges occur. There are also the skills we will explore in the Project DPro guide. All work that is managed through projects, whether in the private sector, construction, telecommunication, information technology, development sector, humanitarian sector, or public sector, all projects share similar challenges. Some of these challenges are designing and delivering project results in the context of time, budget, quality, scope, risk, and constraints, developing comprehensive and detailed project plans and managing them through the entire life of the project. Managing projects that are often implemented via partners, consortia, contractors, subcontractors, and suppliers, and identifying potential risks and establishing processes to avoid and address these risks and ensuring that the intended project benefits are delivered. While there are similarities that exist between these sectors, there are some characteristics that make managing projects in the development sector unique and especially challenging. Some of these unique characteristics include development and humanitarian projects are responsible for delivering tangible outputs and also for delivering less tangible outcomes related to promoting social change and or behavioral change. Development projects are less likely to focus on delivering concrete products as the ultimate goal of the project and are often service-oriented, intended to bring about improvements in the well-being of the project's target populations. Development projects aim to address complex problems of poverty, inequality, and injustice. Development projects tend to operate in exceptionally challenging contexts, limited resources, high risks, complex procurement networks, unstable political and financial environments, unsafe conditions. Project implementation is often managed through a complex array of stakeholder relationships, partner agencies, government ministries, community-based organizations, contractors, global consortia that have different compliance requirements, perspectives, and expectations. The project approach is often as important as the outcomes themselves, including a high priority placed on participation rights-based approaches. Transferring knowledges and learning to the target population is a priority during each and every phase of the project. Projects in the development and humanitarian sectors can be subject to changing and challenging funding environments. So 1.1.3 is done. Now, before going to the explanation, let me show you the famous figure 2. We have to be very keen to see it, because let me reduce the size of the page so that we could see the whole picture at a glance. Okay. So now we could see, yes, we could see. Let me make it a bit smaller. Okay, now we could see the figure 2, because the whole thing I read already is the discussion on the basis of this figure. If you see the figure keenly, you will find that the project is simple. Tying a swing for children. But now let's go one by one. The images are there. Now let's go image by image. Image 1, you see the swing has been tied, but the children cannot swing there because behind the swing, the main body of the tree, the main branch, so that children will be traced there. So it's an incorrect or inadequate understanding of needs. Now number 2. So the project has been designed in such a way that, okay, when they found that the swing cannot move behind, means move back, so they cut the main part of the tree, and so they put two reinforcement. Now it's also a wrong design because the tree will die, and also it's not the practical one. So it's a poor project design. Now number 3, the swing has been installed, but there is a sofa which is not practical for swing, which is unrealistic expectations. Now number 4 image is only one image has been I'm taking 5 seconds to receive a call. Sorry, I'm back again. So image number 4 is in a swing we need two string, means two rope to hold the two edge of the swing, but there's only one rope, which is inadequate resources, means there were some budget lacking. Okay, no theoretical discussion. Let me focus on the pictures. Now, the swing has been installed, but there is no leaves on the trees. Number 6 is there's a natural disaster. Number 7, the tree is so weak to bear the swing. Number 8 is the budget is so high that there's a cushion on the swing. Number 9, last one, is the material was so low quality so that the swing has been broken in pieces. So these are the scenario, the common scenario we face in a project. And for our preparation for the exam, let me make the page bigger than now so that you could read with me when I am going through the pages. Okay, I think I made it enough big. Now there's an important note that projects are being operated in a very complex scenario, and every project has numerous challenges and project relationships are complicated. And if project is being failed, the cost of failure is really high. So we have to keep it in mind while we are taking preparation for exam. And the common replies for the failed projects is out of our control. We commonly say that this was out of our control, but if we can anticipate, analyze, and manage the project actively, so we can avoid such out of control situation. There are some challenges in each project, and there are 4 basic challenges. The number 1 is designing and delivering results, keeping in mind that we have to manage time, budget, quality, scope, risk, and constraints. Number 2 is developing a comprehensive and detailed project plan. Number 3 is we need to work with multiple stakeholders like partners, consortia, maybe contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, and the most important one is identifying risks and establishing processes to avoid and address the risks. So development and humanitarian projects have some characteristics like we normally responsible to deliver tangible outputs and also some less tangible outcomes like social change and behavioral change. Another characteristics is we prefer to work in a complex array of problems like poverty, inequality, injustice, which are not commonly catchable or commonly seeable or touchable. So the things are not really structured on or infrastructured one, but some kind of complex things like inequality, we cannot see it. Injustice, we cannot see it. But development projects address this kind of complex problems. Then development projects or humanitarian projects are being operated in very challenging contexts like emergency situations, humanitarian emergencies, war, between famine and havocs and epidemics, pandemics, limited resources, high risks, complex procurement networks. You know, people who work in humanitarian sector, there are many items, those are not even found in the market, even there is no existence of any suppliers. So these are the challenging contexts of the development in humanitarian sectors, humanitarian projects. Another characteristics is the accumulation of stakeholders. The stakeholders we manage, we need to work, is really a complex set of stakeholders, from partner agencies to government ministries, from rival groups, from insurgent groups to community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, contractors, global consortia, and they have their different aspirations, different compliance requirements, different policies, different ideologies, perspectives, expectations, influences, and also other kind of aspirations, and also other kind of comments and many things and ideologies. The next characteristics is the project approach is very important, because development projects ensure that we have to make the project is a participatory one, and also we use the rights-based approach where beneficiaries need to be participated in the project implementation process in every life cycle of the project. And also we target transferring knowledge and learning to the targeted population. And we need to make sure that we are doing it in each and every phase of the project. And also the funding environment in development and humanitarian sector is really challenging because it changes, and also some kind of man-made challenges. There are political challenges that there are in terms of getting funds on time, and also on an expected level, on an expected threshold. So now we are at point 1.1.4, and the point is, why does project management matter? Let me read point by point and we'll discuss shortly because we have time limitation. Why does project management matter? Number one, agents of change. Other points. Context. Accountability. These 3 points are very important that makes us ensuring the knowledge and skills of project management for the project managers and project staff members. Number 1 point, agents of change. The development and humanitarian sectors have experienced substantial growth in the past few decades. Any rapid growth comes with growing pains as roles and responsibilities within the sectors are identified and clarified. However, our responsibility as professionals within these sectors is to provide the maximum benefit for the targeted individuals, groups, and communities in which the interventions take place. Projects are the foundation of for the sectors. If teams fail to provide the intended outputs at the project level, a domino effect will occur, making it less likely that the contextual, behavioral, and situational changes we seek at the outcome, program, and portfolio levels actually occur. Essentially, projects are the vehicle through which changes can occur. It is vital that the management of projects is effective and efficient so that a foundation is created that enables changes. Project management must be approached intentionally with processes, procedures, tools, and techniques in place that contribute to the maximum change possible for communities and beneficiaries. So the point is very clear. The project staffs, the project members, implementation members, they are the agents of change as projects target to bring change in the communities. And they need project management knowledge. Now context. We will discuss the difference between projects, programs, and portfolio later in this chapter. This differentiation is important in understanding the context in which projects operate. The focus of the PGDPro is to provide adaptable tools and processes to help those implementing projects on the ground, increasing the likelihood of success. In 2018, PM4NGOs launched the Program Guide for Development Professionals, PGMDPro, to complement the PGDPro guide and showcase the differences and provide guidance on the ways we approach and manage projects and programs. Often, in practice within organizations, there is little differentiation between the two. The terms are frequently used interchangeably. The PGDPro and PGMDPro aim to ensure these differences are clear. The context is we have project managers, and in some cases, one person is managing some other projects. So he's given the position program manager. So we need to understand the project management and program management. And that's why you need project management knowledge to understand the project management context and to differentiate project management context and program management context. Accountability. Excuse me. There is an increased demand for accountability in the development and humanitarian sector, but it is important to understand that there are different levels of accountability: upward, downward, and horizontal accountability. Downward accountability, we are also accountable to the communities and people we are serving with our interventions. ensuring that we are providing high quality services and products in the most cost-effective way possible. An intervention that is operating within a conflict context may require more thought and analysis when it comes to downward accountability. Conflict-sensitive frameworks that include the principle of do no harm are important to take into consideration. We'll discuss do no harm principle after reading this section. Upward accountability. When we are working with donor and taxpayer funding, we have an obligation to use those funds in a responsible manner. Providing the maximum benefit possible, we also have an obligation to the program and portfolio levels in our organization, ensuring that the projects we are implementing align with the strategy of the organization as a whole and contribute to achieving program outcomes. Horizontal accountability. Projects do not happen in a vacuum, excuse me. They are part of a network of interventions being implemented by various organizations, INGOs, CBOs, private sector, CSR projects within a geographical region. Horizontal accountability takes into consideration the partnerships, relationships, and collaboration efforts we have with our peers and other organizations. We need to consider how our intervention first fits into the development and humanitarian picture within a given context and be aware of how these partnerships and collaboration efforts can bring about that higher level change we are seeking. There are a multitude of different platforms that offer things. This kind of collaboration, project managers ought to be aware of these platforms and seek to actively participate in them if and when possible. So now let us discuss do no harm principle. I think let me discuss downward accountability first. Suppose your organization or my organization is implementing a project. So the downward accountability is the organization itself has a responsibility to be accountable to the beneficiaries and other stakeholders. So this accountability is through the MEAL plan, through the complaint box, through the code of conduct policy, through whistleblowing mechanism, through other mechanism of accountability, and upward, and we have and the principle of being downward accountable is do no harm principle. We have to design our projects in a way that we do not further the harm is being made to the beneficiaries. So our activities, our actions must not further the harm that is being made to the beneficiaries, which is called do no harm principle. We'll discuss it in short. And now upward accountability. As we receive funds from the donors, and donors gather money in many channels, and sometimes we receive funds from government agencies, and when we receive funds from government agencies, we have to keep it in mind that the government agencies funds are coming from the taxpayers' money. So we have a responsibility to be accountable to them, and that is possible through making ourselves accountable to the beneficiaries, and also being the organization itself accountable and transparent. The horizontal accountability is the accountability we have towards our peers and to the other implementing agencies and actors in the same geographical area or in same thematical area. The do no harm principle, in short, I'm reading first, then I will explain. Part of downward accountability incorporates the do no harm principle, which is part of a conflict-sensitive approach to interventions. This principle ensures that our projects proactively assess the ways in which the targeted groups and other stakeholders could be negatively impacted by the intervention. The goal of taking a do no harm approach is to minimize negative impacts and maximize positive impacts of the intervention on conflict. So before designing the project, we have to assess the activities, the proposed activities, that is it impacting the beneficiaries? We have to assess that. If it impacts negatively their lives and livelihoods, we must not take this type of activities. So keep it in mind, do no harm principle, and which is developed by conflict sensitivity, which is called a conflict sensitivity tool. To know more about this do no harm principle, you can visit www.conflictsensitivity.org. So we have done 19 pages today, and still we have time. Let us take a short break of 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'll come back and let's keep discussing the things. Thank you. See you in 10 minutes. So we'll come back at my clock. This is 7:52 p.m. We'll come back at 8:02 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Ada foreigner dikit deal kita ada malah no.